anyway?
See, you disabled your
Describe what
Point
you're
that
seeing, guys. Let me help you.
zoom my screen here. Zoom my screen.
Oh, the Zoom screen.
Eh,
Somebody is making a lot of sense. I need to increase. I need to increase my. Is it? Is the Zoom? Oh yeah. No. All right. View tools. Iri settings.
Nash. Tu senta lo yo.
Guys, this thing is or at view. There it is. View profile. Show hide, no status, no customize.
Viringe my comments.
I want to increase the zoom, the font.
Viringe my comments.
Can see it. Yeah, I know, ESSH, but I just want to increase the. It's a question.
How about they just do it in I'll see we are using a different to just present.
What I saw. No. I want to increase the font shader.
And
Okay. That's what I want. That's what I want. Guys, are you seeing this with the? Are you seeing this? I know. Are you seeing this?
right.
Yes, sir, we are.
What are you seeing? I'm going to write my name somewhere. Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
Yes, we are seeing your name.
My name on after the ampersand. Where the blue
Yes.
is? Are you seeing where the highlight is?
Yes, we are seeing it.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. Guys, I am. Let's start by making a few announcements. First announcement is that this is the last lecture in terms of the Linux section of your introduction to computers. But it's this beginning of exercises. We are hoping that by Monday we'll be ready to do a mock exam or tests, or to begin mock tests for you. First test will be on Monday around the same time. Same time, yeah, 1 o'clock. And then the real test. All right, say something, Tinaje.
The name it at the same time, same man.
Monday. Get a Friday.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, Friday.
Next Wednesday. Is that okay? And then we do the test on next Friday. Is that okay for you guys?
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. We are now together. So we're going to have a test on Wednesday around 1 o'clock. On Friday around 1 o'clock, we're going to have another test. The first test We call it a mock test. Please do it because I'm going to record some of these marks as class tests. Is that okay, people?
Yeah, see, but that is chinyorera pai manje, but pa Google Class.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to enunciate, Tinashe, don't worry. We're going to do this as a quiz test, which means it's going to be multiple tests or structured questions where you do it, but everything will be online. And what we're going to do is we will use the same environment. We will not use, LMS. LMS, I hear there's a problem with it, so we're not going to use it. Is that clear in the room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So test on Wednesday, another test on Friday. The first test, we call it a class test or a mock exam. We just want to test the system if it works properly. And then the next one will be a real test. And we are going to record both as coursework coursework marks or a combination of these tests will give us a class test. And please do not fail to do it because you are going to be having no coursework mark. So you need to just make sure that you are online, make sure that you've got a good bandwidth, make sure that it's within the time between 1 and 3 o'clock. Between 1 and 3. The paper must be done presumably within 1.5 hours. You should finish the exam. So please, let's bear that in mind before we start, that there is going to be tests on next week, starting on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and followed by another one Friday at 1 o'clock again. And the thing is, they are both going to be recorded, but we will call the first one a mock exam test. The next one, a real coursework exam test. Is that clear in the room?
Excuse me.
Yes, connected to
Jose,
I don't think I can address those issues. You go to a cafe or somewhere where the network is good, especially when you are doing an exam. You need to go to an exam to a place where the network is good. I can't address that one.
Sir, some people are asking to be admitted into the lesson.
To get what?
Into the lesson, they are not being accepted into the lesson.
All right.
say,
Yes.
Kosi inofana kubuda pa ELMS.
No.
All right.
Kosi ndio ili kubuda ipapa chete.
All right. No number ona pa ELMS.
Problem ndio kuti pa LMS kune 4 courses.
All right. All right.
Kune library 2, then kune information yekunyola mapaper, which is another lesson on the same time. So we are afraid we are crowded on that platform. We decided, no, let's formulate our own group, and then just get into increasing our visibility. Visibility is not correct. You will not know which lesson you are coming from.
Sorry,
for Linux, and these are practical computer driving lessons training.
Sorry, say.
Did I answer that?
Yes.
Is that clear, ma'am?
Yes.
Or say, who asked that question?
Someone.
I end as I clear.
And
Sorry, say I've got a question.
Yeah.
So since it's not appearing on ELMS, the issues that has to do with the nodes,
What?
where can we where can we get the nodes?
We gave you reps the very first day. We sent those notes and we asked you to get in touch with the notes. Are you attending this thing for the first time?
For this
Because we did
Google
Word, we did Excel, we did PowerPoint.
for this class, for this Google class, I'm coming for the first time. Last week I failed to connect.
Yeah, that's your problem. You should have gotten in touch with somebody who has got a good network, and you get in touch and you hook up with them. Is that okay?
Okay.
Guys, there's no way I can be asked to improve your network or to give you notes when we did that the very first lesson. I don't understand people, We cannot be talking about notes. The other day, I must apologize, I was rather very, I think, nasty to this student we had asked last time. But the truth of the matter is I cannot be talking about the same issue all over. Otherwise, my time for the lecture is going to be eaten.
Yeah, let's get started. I think.
Yeah, because there is. It's not even it. It did. It stayed with the positive. When I say it come out, and then it went up.
You want to zoom?
So, guys, we're going to get into the system. What is it? Whatever.
Sign. Okay, the iPhone is 34 degrees Windows minus. All right. What's this? If I say full screen, what happened? Chama, I don't want to be having this all the time. I want to go to my. No, I want to go to inside my. Yeah. All right. Guys, let me start by saying that this is Secure Shell. Secure Shell is a connection to a Linux server that we use when we are in Windows. So you install the Secure Shell on a Windows machine, you install it to make it possible for you to connect to your Linux machine from a Windows machine. So that's what I've done. I'm logged into a machine remotely and I'm using Secure Shell to do that. You will find that there are so many of these terminal connections environment that one can use. Is that okay? If you look, are you seeing this one?
Yes.
Are you seeing the blue thing? And the server that I'm currently hooked to.
No, sir.
Server that I'm currently hooked to.
Sir, we cannot see anything.
Guys, are you seeing the screen?
No, sir, we can just see an arrow.
Yeah, tukuru
But others vari kuona kaiwo kuita sei kusaona. Are you seeing pataka highlight kuti Secure Shell?
Yes.
Yes.
So we are kuona ameno pari. Please try to talk to your friends because I'm out here and I don't even know what you're seeing. I would help you if you're in the labs.
It's okay, sir, I can now see.
I can proceed, is it?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you log on to Linux machine, if you look at this one, I'm logged in and I'm logged in as root. The special note about root in Linux is that
in as super user. And when you are logged in as super user, the ampersand prompt, this one here that I've highlighted, appears and shows you are actually a super user. Okay, when you can where you can see that you are actually the super user is when you've got the prompt, and the super user in this case is root. And what happens is the @ sign. The @ sign here shows you where you are at, or the computer name that you are at. And if you notice, gold hope sign, that's the server that we are logged into. And this squiggle here shows here I am actually on my home directory. So if I say print working directory, PWD, it actually shows you I am on root. And that's what we're going to be working from most of the time. But however, I will not be working as root, because people are not supposed to work as root. The reason why I'm at root is I want to set a password for a user, or create a user for you guys to use during your training, or for the sake of this demonstration. So for that sake, I've got a user called, I think, test user. Let me just do that. Test user. And that user now, I need to set their password. And there's something very important about setting the password is it must be long enough, and you must be able to remember it. So one, it must be long enough and cryptic. You use your base it on a name and put in capitals, characters, and numbers to make it sure that it is very, very cryptic, and it is not going to be easy to crack into. You can see I did a password and it says bad password. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it means my password was very, very easy to crack into. But I'm doing it just to make sure that you guys can tell the difference. But when we have got a very good password, it doesn't say that. It just what? Now, when we have done that, it says all authentication tokens updated successfully, which means I've moved I've actually changed, because that was my command. Password, the name of a person gives me a password. This here, what was I doing here? I was changing the password of a person called, what's the name of the person?
Test user.
Test user, thank you for the following. So the test user password is changed, and I have managed to change it into what I can remember. Now, when this is all done, I can actually switch in between. But before I can leave this environment, is super user is used probably creating users, installing software, and shutting down the system. All those functionalities are not done by the average user. But I'm going to switch user now, SU, to test user. Then you will notice a difference there. SU is for switching user. So now if I switch user, you see what has happened. What has happened? My test user is now, if you look at test user there, is now at the server. But he is seated on a root which is not his, or on a home directory which is not his. So let's correct that and abnormality by saying cd/home /test user. And then what are we doing there? We have now gone to the home directory for a person called test user.
Yes.
Are we together, people? And when we are at your home directory, this
Yeah.
vehicle, this thing here, chinobva chawedge, chinobva charatidza kuti you are on your home directory. So when I'm there, I can do things now or run all the commands. The first one that we did was date. Remember that one? And we can actually,
Sir, I have a question.
we have a date minus I. Sorry?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you typed cd/home/test user, what does the cd stand for?
CD stands simply, ma'am, for change directory. These are commands in Linux, there are many. But it's a simple command to say, I want to change my directory. Remember, what was happening there, ma'am? We were seated on a different directory, which is not ours, which was called root. So what I was doing there was changing and just updating the abnormality that we are not sitting on our home directory. Let's go and sit on our home directory. And our home directory is /home/test user. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
And then I've run the date, and it gave me the date here in terms of Wednesday, Friday, 10, and then the time is 13:49 and a few seconds, and then it's 20:21.
Se,
This
pana
is
wakumbira
what we
upinde.
get when we say date. But if we put a minus I on the same date, we get a different format. And these are the commands that we did and we saw the other time. Is that okay, people? So we've done,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we've done a PW, we've done change user. Oh, sorry, we've done password as well. Password. Password change, we've done SU, which is change, and CD for changing directory. This one, SU, is for changing user or switching between the user. And then the CD is out there for changing the directory. Now I'm back to doing the normal Linux commands that we did. Is that okay, people?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Se pana
Can I
wakumbira
proceed?
upinde.
Yeah.
Now we can actually say
That's what to do.
if
People
you want
to be admitted into the classroom.
Oh, you want to be admitted into the class.
Yes, they are saying that they are not being admitted. They've been waiting.
Yeah, for 15 minutes.
Oh man, each time I do this, it's all right. All right. can't be doing this. Why can't the system just do enough? I don't like it. Guys, next time I might be using Zoom because this technical is really necessary.
Yes.
I don't like it. But anyway, I've deleted all of them. They are there now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Zombo.
I don't like the kind of arrangement that is really not good for me. Where is my... Anyway, are we together now?
Yes, sir.
We've done the date command. We've also presumably done the print working directory. The other thing that we can do is do other things like who. It's a very simple question in Linux. It means if I say who, I get who are the other people that are logged into the system. So I can find out who is logged in, and I can even ask the system, who am I? One way. And the system will tell me who I am. For example, you just go in, you don't know who is logged in, you can actually ask the system who is currently logged in. Is that clear in the room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to soldier on, and I will dwell a lot with this command on this command called the ls, and I will try to teach you every other aspect of Linux that there is to learn about it. We said there is a command called ls. We saw it last time, and that command, what it does, it says on the current directory, please give me a listing of the items that are there. That is file and directories. The other one that you can use is the dir, which is a DOS command actually that you can use. But the difference, what's the difference, guys? You realize that in Linux, if you say ls, the subdirectories are highlighted in different color. Is that okay? From the files. The file, like file 7, is in black, whereas the directories or subdirectories are in blue. Did you notice that? Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So in the Linux environment, we're able to see the differentiation between the folders and the regular files and the directories. That's the advantage of this Linux command. But we also say ls can be supported by a switch. That okay? Can be supported by a switch. And a simple switch is -L. -L is a land. Please disable your mic, please, if you're doing some other business. If we say ls -L, what we're saying is we are going to ask Linux to give us an output of the ls command, but in a different format. And this format, for your own information, is called long. So we're going to ls or list long. By listing long, we are saying for the information that I have listed previously, I want the listing to be long. By long listing, we are saying, please can you give me the details? For example, if we run it nicely, we can see that the exams, are we seeing that? the exam directory
Yeah.
is actually was actually created in this date. Are we seeing the date of creation
Yes, sir.
of the
Yeah.
exam file? And then we also see the size of that file, which is there. And we also see the other details, like the owner of that file. So, or rather, the group owner of that file. We want to see also the owner, because as it is, this file was owned by a test user, but he also belongs to a group or is also owned by a group called root. And this is an abnormality which we will talk about later. But if you look at this file, the owner and the group or so-called primary group owner on the file. This file called exam was created by user belonging to a group called test root, and that we said is a super user environment. Out here, there is also these strings of numbers, and that we talked about last time, and we said they are the permissions permutation. What did we say? The first three identify what the owner can do to the file. And if you can see, the owner can read, write, and execute the file. But out the group that the owner belongs to can only read and execute. They cannot write the file. Others in the domain or in the file can also read and execute the file, but they cannot write the file. Is that clear in the room? We talked about it last time. Is that clear?
Yes.
The new aspect that I expect people to ask me is the D. What do you think the D stands for? Let's hear people say something. What do you think the D stands for? The D identifies it as a directory. So exams here is a directory. And you can see it proceeds this each time or everywhere where the directory exists, the D exists as well. So all these are labeled as directories. That's a directory. That's a directory. Check Prodigy, check the movies, they are directories. And these can be labeled apparently. So when we say list long, we get whether it's a directory or a file. When it's a file, you can see, check on the file 7 here. There is absence of a definition for it. And that is for a regular file. So we can have directories, we can have regular file. But when we say list long, we are able to identify whether it's a real directory or it's a regular file, and also anything to do with the permissions. Who owns it? That's the person who owns it. And the group that shares that file, and the size of the file, and the date the file was created. Do you see that there's more detail on this listing than in the previous case? If you go back to what we did, our LS previously just produced a list of content. But if you look at this list, it is very detailed. It consists of all the files and who owns them. And you can see that a file called microcontrollers is not owned by test user. Are we together? It's owned by root. And root has got a group of his own. And the size of the file is that one. And the file was created in that on that date. that is indicated. Are we together, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody with a query as far as this section is concerned? Are we see, Siren? Have we understood?
Yes, sir, we have.
Can I proceed?
Ndere.
Yes,
know,
sir, you can
proceed.
proceed. You can proceed, sir.
All right. LS minus L. We can also say, no, I don't want to see the LS of the current directory that I'm looked at. Are we together? I can say, no, I want to look at a file or directory called etc. So I will say slash, which means I'm addressing it here absolutely, slash etc, and then I've put my, not ECT, but etc. When I've done that, I'm now directing my energies to listing in detail. You get it? I'm listing, yes, but I'm listing long. And what is the other thing? Is I've got a target. So you can actually put in a target. If I do this, you see it takes long. All these are files that exist on etc, and there are so many. There are regular files, there are directories, and there's so many things under etc. And I want to tell you that it is a very useful subdirectory for configuration of the system. Now, what have we done? We have just gone to another targeted file and listed long. We didn't go there, but we could have simply gone there by doing what, guys? By saying cd/etc, then taococo.ls. Then we will still do the same thing. The absolute addressing removes the idea of reputation. You can actually do an absolute addressing of what you want. So we can say we've got ls. Sorry, I can use the upper arrow. You can see what I did. ls being a command, and minus L being a switch, and the target is there. Are we together, guys? So we have done, we put a target. But in addition, there are so many ways to do the listing. We can also say ls minus a and put without putting a target. Let's see that. In fact, let me do the three and you see the difference. And then we do an ls minus what? Minus L. If you look at this, my ls minus A gave me so much detailed flant, but of all these files, including what is known as the dot files, which means the hidden files, and it brought them up into life. That's what your switch minus A does. And then minus L gave me the details of who owns the file. But these are not the hidden files. So what I can do if I really want, I can combine the two. I can say minus AL as a way of finding out what is happening. What has happened, guys? We have got the listing of all the files, yes, but because there's an A, all the files are listed, including the hidden files earmarked by dots. All these are hidden files. They are dot files, we call them. And they don't appear easily, so they are system files. And when we put a minus A, we're saying, give me the detail of every file that is there. But when you do an ls simply, you don't see the, you can see what we did. Ls that we did here, we only listed only these files and none of the dot files. We can see now the dot files are brought about. Now, another much interesting one is ls minus h minus l, and let's put an h and an l. Let's see what the difference is. You can see, okay, let's see, let's remove the h and see what the difference is. The difference is largely on the human readability of the size of the file. So the minus h, what it does is a magic switch for saying, no, I want it to be humanly readable to me, so that it appears as Ks, megas, or what? What's the other thing? It can appear as teras or something. So rather than appearing as a garbage of numbers, it will appear to me as a readable format for the number. That's the only difference what the H has done. So if you look at this, this is very, 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 very useful in reality in Linux, because it allows you to read these numbers as they appear in the best way possible. And you can actually deal with things that are difficult. How and when and how can I be told which switch and when? You can only, the when part is through experience. But how to do it is very easy. We can invoke what is known as the manual. If I say man ls, remember, man is just a manual. ls is a command that you know. So I want to see the switches that I'm talking about, whether we've been telling each other the truth or not. You can see that there's a switch called -a. What does this switch do? It's for all the files. Do not ignore entries with dots. And this is magical. You can see there are so many switches. There are so many. And we can spend the whole day talking about them. Because they are there in Linux, we can easily ignore that, because we can only do that when we want to apply on a specific environment. You can put a -d if you want directories only. You can put a this thing is, all right. You can put a -g, -h is the one that I tried to demonstrate there for human readability. And you can see I'm trying to go too long. Yes, there it is. After K, there's L, which says use a long listing format. And that is when we get the details that we need. All this is very possible. We can put -q, we can put a -r for reversal. We can reverse them. We can do a lot of things around it. We can actually do, error if we really want. Now, why have I done this? I'm trying to say, guys, I didn't do a magic thing. I'm following what Linux says. And if you invoke the manual by saying man ls, it will tell you the switches that you need. And you guys must be aware of what is known as the man page, or the man and then the name of the command. You can actually do it from man -d minus, let me quit this. You can say if you want, you can actually say minus, what's the other one that we did? Oh yeah, date. We can say, I've forgotten the sheet that I was using with the minus date. And if you do that, we can go down and find out what the minus, where is it? Can't find it. I can't find it. Minus I. I'm trying to find out if the format is listed. Oh, it is. But shoot, there's so many things that are there, and you can get yourself lost into like the activities there. Yeah, there's a minus U for the UTCL time, universal time. But I can see minus I. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I'm not lost. Sorry, guys. I couldn't see it. If you put a minus I, it will put update of the ISO 8601 format. And then you were able to see the date. The other way to do the same, if you notice the other time we did that, you can actually say minus ISO minus 8601, and that does this thing of the format in that ISO standard or format that is required, and only the date will appear, and that's nice. People always want to have a precise measuring of things, so we can do that. And you can actually do quite a lot of things, really, a lot of things, if you apply these switches. There are so many, and it's difficult for you to even ask me where to find them. So if you say man and a command, you get the manual for it. And what does the manual do? It gives us the ability to put extra switches on the command, and we get a refined output from the output that we are normally used to when we say man. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah.
Are you following? So
Yes.
when we say man, we get please switch off the man. Switch off your mic. Switch your man off your mic. Who is this one?
Divine Jima Kanigi.
Mara, ane jealous asikuda kuti tidzidze. Anyway, guys, so you got it. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Can I proceed?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Linux is so good, and people get bored easily because there's so many commands and something. So the man command helps us. Even if we've forgotten the switch, we can remind ourselves by saying, by the way, there was this switch that we were using when I was doing a training. And what was the switch? L or some, was it a K or an S? Let me try that. But the command was definitely ls. So if you say man ls, it will actually give you the listing of the switches that you can use together with ls in order to get a refined output. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can I proceed?
You can proceed, sir.
Yeah.
Good. So we have seen that a command can be enhanced by putting a switch. And there are so many times we do that in order to get things into the right mode. Is that okay? So we actually do.
Yeah.
When we do the proper Linux, you find that we use it in programming as well. We call another command And when we do that, you find that the switches come in very handy. You can actually call a time date on a thing and then get an exact time or an exact date or an exact day of the week. So we can play around with that and get all those things done. You guys must know that Linux has a command, and each command is supported by a switch. And a switch is simply to enhance the characteristics of the output, so that our output is different from normal Linux. Can I proceed?
See, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Yeah, I can proceed. If you look, the Linux is also good at reminding people. Say like we've done this course, you guys are doing an introductory course, but even us, we do very thorough Linux. You can forget a command, but you can also forget the switch. So how do you get helped? You can actually use another command called apropos. Apropos, please, this is not a wrong spelling. Don't try to correct it. Apropos, are you seeing that? Minus, sorry, and then I would say list, and put a phrase or an actual English statement which you want to do. Saying I've forgotten, in this case, I've forgotten the command that does this. Was it a KL? Was it a GS? Was it an SL? Was it, you know, you can ask yourself such questions when you have done a course, but you can easily recall the Linux thing by using apropos. Some of these things you mustn't forget. Please don't forget apropos. Apropos, if I put it as a command, I can say list of directory content. If you do this, guys, you will find that you can get a listing of all, because what apropos does is it says, okay, we don't remember a thing, we have forgotten. Now, what was it doing? What was the command doing? And I remember it was doing a listing of directory content or content or something like that. Let me just do this one and see. If you do that, apropos should be able to give you a listing of all the commands that I'm listing. But if you do that, you go bananas. So if you do, if you are clever, you would then do a pipe and put less out here. Less, and the pipe and less, what it does is it allows you not to see the end of the output, but you'll be able to go to scroll up, down the output. And then if I go down the list, I must go where it says LS. Is it there, Richard? You know, yeah, this one now. Wagara Farid Linux. LS, Irguya. I want to LS. It doesn't come out, and it's going to then I'm going to LS. So this one didn't work. Let's go back. Let's quit. Let's recall. Let's find out what is wrong. Content.
I think my spelling at direct.
Direct. Oh, can see. Thank you, Chirungu. Panamai. Karakure nemoto. Waita obatira.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Mababy re.
Yeah?
Mababy re yangu na jirungu.
Anogona chirungu. Agara nekuchikoro chaicherera mabhedhi machirungu aiko. Anyway, so if you look, you see there, Anna, that was the correction that was made. Oh, LS is not there, is it there?
No, it's not.
What? What's happening to me? Apropos is not listing anything. No. Hey. Before you can say it's no neighbor. I think you need to go down and you feel.
I have a question, sir.
Yes. No, let me just finish this demonstration. Then you can ask, say. Is it about what I'm doing now? What I haven't finished? Yeah? You know, is it about what I'm demonstrating, say?
Yes.
But can you see the contents now?
Yes.
Are you seeing this part?
Yes.
What? Isn't that what we are looking for, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
It's now there.
It's now.
So you guys can say that I know what I'm doing. And apropos use primarily, you can forget a command. You can be you can be corrected by using apropos user. Are we together? So we have forgotten the command. But after getting the command, we can have forgotten as well the switch. How do we remind ourselves about the switch? We use the command to get the switch so to be reminded about what the switch does. We need to do that. Now that I've done that, let me invite question. Somebody has a question. Please, can I have it now?
So, say on the previous two commands, we wrote it